Your hips are not tight. They're afraid. You've been taught to stretch, to force release, to push against that perceived resistance in your body's deepest core. You've diligently engaged in every recommended pose, every intense stretch, every fervent attempt to lengthen what feels perpetually shortened. Yet, the persistent tightness remains, a subtle ache that whispers of an unresolved mystery, a locked vault, a forgotten doorway within your own architecture. This isn't a flaw in your design, nor a weakness in your discipline. It is, profoundly, your body's most ancient wisdom speaking. Beneath the surface of your conscious effort, a more profound calcification is silently taking root, an energetic stagnation that no amount of mechanical elongation can ever truly dissolve. This subtle, unacknowledged burden accrues, manifesting as a pervasive stiffness not just in your physical structure, but in your very approach to life itself. It limits your creative flow, dampens your emotional resilience, and subtly dictates the boundaries of your personal power, all while you continue to apply the same ineffective solutions, unaware of the deeper current at play. For millennia, across diverse traditions, the hips have been revered as the very seat of primal energy, the root of our being, a sacred crucible where our deepest connection to the earth and our own instinctual truths reside. Ancient yogis, hermetic philosophers, indigenous shamans, they all understood that this foundation of the body was the soul's first translator, silently archiving every unprocessed fear, every forgotten fight or flight impulse your conscious mind once deemed too overwhelming, too terrifying, too inconvenient to confront. They knew that the body, particularly this vital nexus, held stories far older and far more potent than the ones we tell ourselves. This profound wisdom, once the purview of mystic and healer, is now being unveiled by the rigorous clarity of modern somatic science, revealing a truth as ancient as humanity itself. Pioneers in the field of somatic inquiry, with their powerful tools of observation and understanding, are now echoing these ancient truths with undeniable precision. Dr. Peter Levine, through his groundbreaking work in somatic experiencing, demonstrates that what we interpret as chronic physical tension is not merely structural rigidity. It is, in fact, the undeniable physical manifestation of stored energetic charge, trauma held captive within the nervous system, and deep myofascial tissues. He meticulously illustrates how the body's innate response to overwhelming events, its instinct to freeze, to brace, to prepare for flight or fight, can become trapped, unresolved, within our cellular memory, particularly within the magnificent psoas muscle. Often called the muscle of the soul, the psoas is not just a major connector between your spine and your legs. It is a primal messenger, a visceral record keeper of your deepest experiences, clenching with unspoken anxieties, compressing with unreleased terror. It is here, deep within your core, that the echoes of forgotten moments are held as an enduring, silent fear. This chronic tension, this subtle ache in your hips, is not a random occurrence. It is the palpable density of unprocessed life. It is the unmourned sorrow, the unroared rage, the untrembled fear that your nervous system once encapsulated for your survival, for your sanity. To continue to ignore this fundamental truth, to persist in treating your hips as a merely mechanical problem rather than a sacred archive, is to remain perpetually tethered to a narrative of scarcity and fear, to walk through life with a muted vibrance, an unacknowledged heaviness in your very core. Your creative flow, your authentic power, your sense of grounded freedom remain frozen, inaccessible, held captive by these ancient imprints. Your capacity for joy, for unbridled expression, for deep, unwavering presence becomes compromised, locked away behind a barrier of unaddressed energetic debt. This is not another session of stretching into pain. This is an invitation into a profound, gentle dialogue with your body's deepest wisdom. We will embark on a precise, embodied protocol designed not to force release, but to safely, meticulously unwind these ancient somatic imprints. Through this guided process, you will transform the silent fear held in your hips into a profound, liberating flow, reclaiming your innate fluidity, your authentic power, and an unburdened sense of grounded freedom that is your inherent birthright. Prepare for a felt transformation in your own body, a liberation from the silent past that has held you captive. The truth is, your body inherently understands what you have forgotten. Your hips are not just a collection of bones and muscles. They are the deepest wellspring of your primal wisdom, a living archive where the echoes of ancient instincts and modern anxieties reside. The deep psoas muscle, the very core of your being, spanning from your lumbar spine to your inner thigh, is not merely a flexor. It is the physical manifestation of your fight-or-flight response, the primordial messenger between your brainstem and your legs. This muscle's constant clench is not weakness. It is a profound, protective contraction, a response of an uncompleted action, an energetic charge held captive. When you experience overwhelming stress or perceived threat, your autonomic nervous system instantly activates the sympathetic branch, flooding your system with adrenaline and cortisol. The psoas, intimately connected to this survival mechanism, tightens to brace you for impact, to prepare you to flee or defend. However, in our modern world, these full-body responses are often suppressed or interrupted, leaving the energetic charge with nowhere to go. It doesn't dissipate. It becomes somatically encoded, particularly in the deep myofascial tissues. As Dr. Thurs, Peter Levine, through his groundbreaking work in somatic experiencing, meticulously details, trauma is not a memory in the brain, but a physiological response frozen in time within the body's cells, a suspended animation of a defensive impulse. This stored energetic charge doesn't just stiffen the psoas, it permeates the entire fascial web that envelops and connects every muscle, organ, and nerve. This intelligent, interconnected matrix becomes dense, rigid, forming a physical carapace around the suppressed fear, communicating a constant signal of danger to your nervous system. Trying to force a stretch against this deeply ingrained protection merely triggers a deeper defensive contraction, much like an animal playing dead, reinforcing the very tension you seek to release. It bypasses the body's wisdom, attempting to override a signal that is fundamentally about survival. Our protocol, however, invites a different conversation. It leverages the body's innate capacity for self-regulation, speaking directly to the deeper nervous system, gently encouraging the completion of those ancient, unexpressed defensive responses. Through subtle, precise movements and embodied awareness, we create a safe container for the trapped energy to finally discharge, allowing the psoas and the entire fascial network to unwind naturally. This gentle, titrated release allows your nervous system to slowly down, regulate, shifting from a state of chronic sympathetic activation towards the healing embrace of the parasympathetic state, as elucidated by Dr. Stephen Porges' polyvagal theory. You are not forcing, you are inviting a deep, internal sigh of relief, liberating the silent fear held within, transforming it into a profound sense of inner flow and authentic, grounded freedom. The real enemy is not your body's refusal to open, but the unprocessed echoes of your past held captive within its sacred architecture. For millennia, ancient traditions understood the hips as the crucible of life force, the silent vault where every fight or flight response, every unspoken fear, is meticulously archived. Modern somatic science, through pioneers like Dr. Skoma, Peter Levine, now validates this, revealing that chronic tension, particularly in the deep psoas, is not structural rigidity, but a physical manifestation of stored energetic charge. You have likely tried to force this release, pushing past resistance, stretching deeper, yet that stubborn, familiar ache remains a locked doorway. This persistent tightness is not a flaw, it is your body's profound intelligence, a protective guardian holding space for what has never been truly released. You've felt the frustration, the sense of being tethered to an invisible constraint, despite all your efforts. There is a different path, a profound invitation to dialogue with your body's innate wisdom. This isn't about forcing, but about listening with precision. Our special guide, Healing Emotion, 22 Somatic Cycles, Release Trauma, Restore Flow, and Return to Creation, offers a nuanced, embodied protocol. Built around 22 gentle somatic cycles, it's designed to safely unwind these ancient imprints. This guide delivers a tangible transformation, moving you from chronic tension to profound liberation. Through these cycles, you will gently release stored trauma, restore the natural, fluid flow of your primal energy, and return to a state of creation, grounded power, and unburdened freedom. This isn't just about pain relief, it's about reclaiming your essential self. The evidence of this transformation is undeniable, visible in countless lives already touched. You can read the real stories, the profound shifts shared by those who have walked this path, pinned in the very first comment below this video. They speak to the authenticity of this journey. This profound opportunity for self-reclamation is available for a limited time. Secure your guide now through the link found exclusively in that first pinned comment before this window closes. Ancient traditions have always known the profound truth of your body as a living archive, a sacred temple whose deepest chambers hold not only life force, but also the subtle echoes of every lived experience. Long before modern neuroscience mapped neural pathways, cultures worldwide understood the hips and pelvis as the very crucible of primal energy, the root of stability, and the silent repository of the soul's unprocessed journey. Consider the profound wisdom embedded in the yogic tradition, where the Muladhara, or root chakra, situated at the base of the spine and perineum, is understood as the seat of our fundamental sense of safety, survival, and belonging. Imbalances here, ancient texts reveal, manifest as fear, insecurity, and a deep, unyielding rigidity in the physical body, particularly around the hips. They did not prescribe forceful stretching. Instead, practices like specific meditative mudras and breathwork were designed to gently unbind the energetic knots, allowing prana, life force, to flow freely. Similarly, the intricate dance of Tai Chi and Qigong speaks to the lower dantian, located just below the navel, acknowledging it as the central energy reservoir for physical and spiritual vitality. Masters of these arts understood that blocked qi in this region led to stagnation, not only in movement but in emotional expression, teaching slow, undulating movements to cultivate and circulate vital energy, softening the deep tissues without force. This universal understanding echoes the Hermetic principle of correspondence, as above, so below, revealing that the microcosm of your body profoundly mirrors the macrocosm of your energetic and emotional landscape. Your hips, therefore, are not merely bone and muscle. They are a direct reflection of your inner world, a physical manifestation of your unaddressed energetic charge. Modern somatic pioneers like Dr. Carneers, Peter Levine, through his groundbreaking work in somatic experiencing, are not inventing new truths, but rather meticulously rediscovering this ancient language, articulating it through the lexicon of neurobiology and myofascial release. He and others have empirically validated what ancient healers intuitively knew, that trauma, fear, and unprocessed survival responses become physically embodied, held captive in the deep tissues like the psoas muscle, creating a persistent protective tension that no amount of mere stretching can truly unravel. They confirm that the body remembers what the conscious mind forgets, that the hips are indeed the soul's first translator, silently archiving every unprocessed fight or flight impulse. Thus, the protocol offered here is not a new invention, but a reawakening to an ancient pathway of healing. It is an invitation to engage in a nuanced, embodied dialogue with your deepest self, to gently renegotiate with the wisdom held within your hips, transforming silent fear into a profound, liberating flow. This is the path to reclaiming your innate fluidity, authentic power, and an unburdened sense of grounded freedom, just as the ancients always taught. Your hips are not merely bone and muscle, they are a living archive, and modern science is finally revealing their profound truth. What ancient wisdom traditions have long understood about the body as a vessel for the soul's journey, and as the sacred crucible for primal energy, is now being meticulously mapped by neuroscience and somatic research. Your persistent hip tightness is not a structural defect. It is a profound, intelligent message from your deeper self, a physical manifestation of stored energetic charge. Pioneers in the field of trauma and embodiment have shown us this unequivocally. Dr. E.W. Peter Levine, the visionary behind somatic experiencing, demonstrates that trauma is not a story remembered in the mind, but an experience held captive within the nervous system and deep myofascial tissues. He reveals how the fight or flight energy, when unable to complete its natural cycle of release, becomes trapped, creating a persistent, subtle hum of tension, particularly in the core muscles like the deep psoas. This powerful muscle, connecting your spine to your legs, is the very seat of your primal survival response, contracting fiercely in the face of perceived threat and often remaining shortened long after the danger has passed. Dr. Question. Stephen Porges' groundbreaking polyvagal theory further illuminates this, showing how chronic tension in these deep structures can be a physical expression of a nervous system stuck in a state of defensive immobilization or hypervigilance. Your body, sensing an unfinished protective action, literally keeps the score, as eloquently described by Dr. Bessel van der Kolk. This isn't just theory. Cutting-edge fascia research confirms that this intricate web of connective tissue, far from being inert packing material, is a highly sensory organ, rich in nerve endings, capable of recording and expressing your entire emotional history. When fear, stress, or unprocessed shock become chronic, this vibrant, fluid tissue solidifies, creating the very locked vault. You feel in your hips, restricting both movement and vital energetic flow. But here is the profound hope: neuroplasticity. The brain's astonishing ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections means that this state is not permanent. Your body holds the memory, but it also holds the innate capacity for release and integration. This is why a gentle, precise protocol, an embodied dialogue with your deepest self, offers the true path to unwinding these ancient somatic imprints. It is a scientific pathway to reclaiming your innate fluidity, authentic power, and an unburdened sense of grounded freedom. A profound release is not achieved through stretching, but through an attentive, gentle dialogue with your nervous system. Begin by finding a quiet space, lying flat on your back on a firm but comfortable surface. Allow your knees to bend, bringing your feet flat to the floor, hip-width apart. Let your arms rest softly by your sides, palms facing upwards, inviting receptivity. Close your eyes. This position, often called constructive rest, subtly unwinds the strain on your psoas, the very muscle Peter Levine describes as the physiological messenger of our deepest fears, the primal messenger of your fight or flight responses. Feel the gentle weight of your pelvis, the broad foundation of your being. Surrender to the earth beneath you. Notice the subtle rise and fall of your breath, not manipulating it, but simply witnessing this rhythmic tide within your core, the quiet pulse of life. This initial posture creates a sanctuary for your nervous system to begin feeling safe, allowing the subconscious mind to trust that this is not a demand, but an offering of space. Your body holds an innate, ancient intelligence for discharge, a tremor mechanism designed to release residual energy from past overwhelm. From this same constructive rest position, slowly, almost imperceptibly, begin to lift your hips just a few inches off the floor, then lower them back down with deliberate softness. Do not push, do not strain. This is not exercise. Imagine your pelvis as a boat gently rocking on calm waters. Repeat this lifting and lowering with extreme slowness, perhaps only 5 to 7 repetitions. Now, allow your knees to fall inward to touch each other, or outward to rest open like a book, whichever feels most easeful, while maintaining your feet flat on the floor. Introduce the subtlest, most gentle oscillation through your pelvis. Imagine an almost imperceptible vibration, a micro-movement emanating from deep within your lower back and sacrum. This is not a controlled movement, but an invitation for your body to begin to tremor. The psoas, often locked in a protective brace, is now given a safe pathway to gently oscillate, to shake off the stored energy, much like a gazelle after escaping a predator, a core principle in somatic experiencing. Allow these subtle tremors to ripple through your hips, your inner thighs, perhaps even down to your feet. Do not judge, do not force, simply witness. This is your body's authentic language of release, speaking through sensation, transforming silent fear into gentle movement. True freedom is found not in forgetting, but in integrating the wisdom of your body's journey. As these subtle movements naturally begin to subside, slowly bring your knees together if they were open, and gently draw both knees towards your chest, giving yourself a soft embrace. Feel the length of your spine, the renewed spaciousness within your lower back. Rock gently from side to side if it feels comforting, acknowledging the profound work your body has undertaken. This subtle rocking further assists in resetting the nervous system, signaling completion of the discharge cycle. Then, with mindful deliberation, roll onto one side and pause there for a few moments, allowing your entire system to integrate this new sense of internal spaciousness. Finally, slowly press yourself up to a seated position. Notice the quality of your breath now, the sense of groundedness, the subtle hum of vitality within your hips. You are not stretching a tight muscle, you are listening to a wise one, gently unlocking a forgotten doorway within your own profound architecture, transforming ancient fear into a liberated, flowing presence. You are reclaiming the sacred crucible of your primal energy, unburdened. Your body is always speaking the truth, and now you will learn to listen with profound clarity. In your very first engagement with this gentle, precise protocol, you will not feel the familiar strain of forcing release, but rather an exquisite invitation, a profound softening from within. You may perceive a subtle, intrinsic warmth emanating from deep within your pelvis, a faint tremor, or a gentle vibration that ripples through your core, signaling the stirrings of long-dormant energetic charge. This isn't just sensation. This is your nervous system, guided by the wisdom principles Dr. Peter Levine so eloquently illuminates through somatic experiencing, beginning its delicate, safe process of unwinding. You are not stretching a tight muscle. You are initiating a nuanced, embodied dialogue with the sacred crucible of your being, granting permission for what was held captive in your deep myofascial tissues to finally begin its silent, unburdened emergence. This is the initial unveiling of a forgotten doorway. With each subsequent invitation into this sacred conversation, you will find the whispers of your body growing clearer, more articulate, transforming into a symphony of release. The persistent tension around your hips, that locked vault you once knew, will subtly soften, not into weakness, but into a permeable, responsive membrane. You will begin to experience a profound internal spaciousness, a sense of widening and expansiveness within your pelvic bowl, as if ancient somatic imprints, those silently archived fears, are gently dissolving, no longer demanding their familiar vigilance. This isn't merely structural. It's a deep remapping of your internal world, allowing the deep psoas, often revered as the muscle of the soul and the foundation of your primal energy, to gradually, safely release its grip on unprocessed energetic charges. You will feel a subtle blossoming of fluidity, not as a forced flexibility, but as an inherent returning to your original, unburdened state, a reclamation of your innate fluidity. True liberation is the reclamation of your innate rhythm and authentic power. As you consistently engage with this profound protocol, you will move beyond the mere absence of tension into an active, vibrant state of embodied grace and unwavering strength. The subtle ache, once a silent reminder of held trauma and fight-or-flight impulses, will transmute into a vital, flowing energy that anchors you more deeply to the earth, connecting you to a boundless source of grounded wisdom. Your posture will subtly realign, your breath will deepen and expand, and you will notice an unshakable sense of grounded freedom permeating your entire being, moving with you into every moment of your day. This isn't just about your hips. It is about restoring the soul's first translator, allowing your primal energy to flow unhindered through the very foundation of your root. You will reclaim your authentic self, stepping through that forgotten doorway into a life of unburdened ease, where your hips become a magnificent wellspring of profound, liberating flow, an undeniable testament to your body's magnificent, ancient capacity for self-healing and unburdened expression. The fundamental obstacle to true somatic liberation is the deeply ingrained cultural conditioning that teaches you to overpower your body rather than listen to its whispers. For generations, you have been taught a paradigm of force, to stretch harder, to push through discomfort, to conquer perceived limitations as if your magnificent physical form were merely an unruly machine needing constant correction. This relentless pursuit of deeper flexibility, driven by an external ideal, bypasses the profound intelligence held within your tissues. It dismisses the sacred truth that your body, particularly the nexus of your hips, is not stubborn but exquisitely communicative, archiving every unprocessed flicker of fear, every silent echo of fight or flight within the intricate fascial web, most notably the deep psoas. You've been programmed to view tightness as a flaw to be corrected, rather than a forgotten doorway to be gently rediscovered. This external pressure breeds inner resistance, an impatience with subtlety, a fear of the unknown emotional landscapes that might surface when you cease forcing and begin to truly feel. You may unconsciously cling to the familiar discomfort, for within that tightness lies a potent, albeit unexamined, sense of protection. The transmutation of this resistance begins when you embrace a radical shift in perspective. Recognize that your body's wisdom is ancient, predating any modern gymnasium or yoga studio. It is the very language your soul speaks, as profound as any hermetic principle. To transmute means to reframe effort as attention, to replace forcing with allowing. Dr. Compley, Stephen Porges' polyvagal theory illuminates how safety, not struggle, is the prerequisite for nervous system regulation and true release, demonstrating that genuine unwinding happens not through external aggression, but through profound internal attunement. To begin this journey safely and effectively, you must start impossibly small, with an almost imperceptible breath, a micro-movement so subtle it barely registers. Resist the urge to push, to achieve. Instead, cultivate a curious, non-judgmental presence, listening for the softest signals. This is not about dramatic stretches, but about creating a profound inner container of safety within your own architecture. Allow your body to set the pace, to reveal only what it is ready to integrate. Through this gentle, precise protocol of micro-exploration, you dismantle the protective walls not by battering them down, but by softly inquiring what they hold, transforming resistance into a sacred dialogue and fear into a liberating flow. This gentle, precise protocol has awakened an ancient, innate wisdom within your very architecture. The persistent tightness, once a locked vault within your hips, has begun to transform, not through force, but through a profound, respectful dialogue with your deepest self. You have not merely stretched muscles, you have listened to the whispers of your nervous system, allowing it to safely unwind the energetic imprints of forgotten fears and fight-or-flight impulses held captive in your deep myofascial tissues. This journey reveals that your body is not a problem to be fixed, but a sacred text to be read, a living archive yearning for reintegration. The deeper truth is that true liberation arises when we cease to battle our somatic intelligence and instead collaborate with its inherent capacity for fluidity and resilience. As Ida Rolf, the pioneering bodyworker, so eloquently stated, "Where the body is stiff and rigid, the soul is likewise. Where it is open and free, so is the soul." This isn't merely a philosophical ideal, it is the palpable outcome of biological restoration. What you have experienced is not mysticism, but your magnificent body reclaiming its original blueprint. Your hips, the very root of your being, are designed for dynamic movement, for the uninhibited flow of life force, not for the silent archiving of stress. This process facilitates a return to your innate physiological state of unburdened ease and grounded power, re-establishing the natural rhythmic pulsations of a nervous system no longer held captive by the past. You are not acquiring a new state, but rather remembering and restoring the authentic, fluid self that has always resided within you, ready to move through the world with an unburdened sense of grounded freedom. The profound truth of your embodied liberation now rests within your conscious grasp. To deepen this awakening, to anchor this ancient somatic wisdom within your very architecture, I invite you to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and illuminate your path by turning on notifications. This is not merely a click, it is an energetic affirmation, joining a collective dedicated to reclaiming innate fluidity. In the sacred space of the comments below, declare your truth, affirm your intention by typing, "I am unwinding silent fear and embracing my sovereign flow." Share this vital message, this gentle key to unlocking forgotten doorways, with anyone whose journey calls for such profound release. When you are prepared to further explore the uncharted territories of your own inner landscape, click the video now unfolding on your screen. This channel stands as a beacon, illuminating the body's magnificent capacity for self-healing and authentic power, a bridge between hermetic truths and the validated science of somatic transformation.